Hi, this is Katie. I am not thrilled to film this video. I want to preface it by saying all my normal stuff, like I don't do videos like this for sympathy. I really would prefer if you didn't like talk crap about the other person that I'm going to mention in this video or about me. I know that you guys are going to have your opinions about things, which is absolutely fine. That we're humans, we have opinions, but leaving me in the comments that he sucks or he was wrong or I suck or I'm wrong or anything like that, it's just not going to be very helpful. And so I would prefer if you didn't leave mean comments or attacking comments of, well, why are you even sad? Or you shouldn't be sad, or you're not even sad and you're making this video for views. Like this is an actual thing that is making me sad, and I think that it's okay that I have my own feelings, and so I don't want the comments to be like argumentative attacking comments, just to preface that. But anyway, so as you can tell by the title, my boyfriend broke up with me. He broke up with me about 2 weeks ago, and I actually already filmed this video. I didn't like how it came out, and so I decided to film it again. So essentially, I've had my YouTube channel, let's go back, okay? I've had my YouTube channel for like 3.5 years. I actually posted my first few videos like 5.5 years ago, but I've had it consistently for about 3.5 years. Since then, I have mentioned one boyfriend. He and I dated for a couple years. I felt safe talking about him in my videos because we were dating for so long and I was in love with him. We were in a serious relationship. This was, again, a couple of years ago. And when we broke up 2 years ago, I remember having to make that video of like we broke up, and it's obviously something that I'm choosing to do. It just makes the breakup like the teeniest bit extra hard when I have made the choice again to talk about it, to discuss it, to explain it in a video. And so after that breakup, it was over 2 years ago at this point, almost 2.5 years ago, I kind of made a decision to not mention any other boyfriends in my videos until this one. So this particular person, which I've never said his name or anything really about him on my channel. I did show him on my Instagram stories quite a few times, but I just kind of mentioned in a few of my videos that I had a boyfriend. I think maybe 2 or 3 videos over the past couple months, I've mentioned that I had a boyfriend. And I have had boyfriends over the past couple of years. I just always wanted to wait to mention them because, you know, I wanted to make sure that they were gonna last. I didn't want it to be a 2-week thing and then we break up, but I already talked about them, and so then it's, you know, I didn't want all that kind of drama stuff. I just didn't want it on my channel. And that's, over the past couple of years, really how my boyfriends have panned out. They've been a couple weeks, which is, you know, whatever. And I didn't want to mention them, and I'm glad that I didn't. But with this one, we started dating in like mid-September. No, early September? When did we start dating? Mid-September? I don't know. September. And it just, I know that everyone says this about most of their relationships, but it just seemed different. And so within a couple weeks, I mentioned that I had a boyfriend in one of my videos. And then I got a ton of questions about it, obviously, because I made that decision to talk about him. And I got a bunch of questions, and I showed him on my Instagram, so I got a bunch of questions about him there. And I know that I did like a Q&A recently, and I talked about what my boyfriend thinks about letting me live in my car, and I have mentioned him. I did that because I made the choice, because I really, really thought that it was going to be a long-term serious relationship. I really did. We got along really well. I felt like he understood me. I thought that it was going to be something long-term, and I was wrong. Essentially, as you guys know, I have mental illnesses, or if this is like your first video you've ever seen of mine, hi, I'm Katie, I have mental illnesses. They cause me very, very severe anxiety, severe depression. I cry a lot. I have very negative, intrusive, loud thoughts, and it's really hard for me to deal with. And when this particular man and I started dating, he made it clear to me that he was okay with it, that he understood that he was going to be there for me. Oh, I'm going to start crying. He told me that if anything was ever going on, to tell him, and really led me to believe that he was still going to care about me and be committed to me and love me during all of this. When I'm at my lows, when I'm at my highs, he just led me to believe that, because he told me all the time, and he was there for me a lot. But after, it was about 6 weeks which I know might not seem like a long time, but I personally think that you can connect with someone after an hour. I don't think time really matters. So I know there are gonna be some of you who are like, why are you sad after 6 weeks? I just am. I saw him every single day for 6 weeks, every single day. We did not miss a day until the day after we broke up. That was literally the first day that I did not see him since the day we met. He was a really good boyfriend when we dated. He really, really was. And again, I really thought that it was gonna last, and I'm not really mad at him. I'm disappointed in what happened, but I'm not mad at him. Essentially, the kind of vague version of what happened is we did argue a few times in the first couple weeks. I mean, if you're with anyone every single day for a week straight, you're gonna argue with them. And we argued a few times, but after, you know, a half hour or an hour, we were able to resolve it. And he even said to me like, oh, I'm really actually kind of glad that we had these arguments because it's showing me that we can get through them. And I was able to communicate my side and he was able to communicate his side, and we were able to compromise. And that's one of the reasons I thought that we were going to be such a good match, because we were able to communicate and compromise. And I think those things are so important in a relationship, for me at least, but I feel like that's a general kind of opinion. But after about a month, I even kind of noticed that there were just like a few days where he seemed a little distant, and I'd ask him what was going on, and he said, no, nothing, I'm fine. And we were still 98% of the time he acted totally fine, so I wanted to believe him, or that at least he was going to talk to me about it when he was ready or whatever. I thought that we were okay. But I also know that on my end, it was almost every single day that I would text him or tell him if we were together. I mean, I wasn't with him all day, every day for 6 weeks. Obviously, like, we both work and like whatever. But I saw him every single day, even if it was just for an hour or two. I did see him every day. But so it was almost every day that I would text him, or I'd just be talking to him and be like, my brain is being really mean right now. And I'm sure that took a toll on him. I'm sure that it just maybe ended up being harder than he thought it was going to be, or he just wasn't ready for something like that, but he thought he was. I don't think he lied. I really don't think he lied. I just think that he changed his mind. So after I said about like 6 weeks, he said something that I didn't like, and I overreacted, as I do sometimes, and he just said, I'm done. And he had to go to work. So that day, if you guys follow me on Instagram, that was the day about 2 weeks ago where I live streamed for like a few hours, and I was just crying. And in the live stream, I mentioned, like, I just got in a fight with someone that I really care about. I didn't want to say that he broke up with me because I was just really hoping that he wasn't really going to do it. I was just really hoping that he was just mad and we were going to talk about it. But I live streamed because if you guys have mental disorders, and I've been getting worse the past few months, but even before I met him. It has nothing to do with him, but my brain's been getting worse. It's been getting more intrusive. It's been getting more negative over the past, I'd say maybe since July or something, June. It's been getting worse, and not situationally, just because that's what mental illness does sometimes. So then adding situations on top of that can make it hurt more, or make it feel worse, or make it feel even more hopeless. And so I was already getting bad. And again, he really was a good boyfriend. He really did what he could to help me in the moment. But I mean, I understand the logic that he has to do what's best for himself. And I hope that that's what he did. It still really hurts, obviously. And again, I know that some of you guys are gonna think that that's crazy, that it still hurts, but it does. Like, he was gonna come home with me for Thanksgiving to see my mom, you know, even if you don't think time-wise it was serious to me, and I think it was to him too. But yeah, so I guess it just got too much for him, and there was that final argument, and I just kept saying, no, don't break up with me. And he was just like, I'm done. And he had to go to work, which was so, like, it made it worse that I couldn't talk to him about it. Because literally that breakup lasted for like 4 minutes. Like, I didn't get an explanation or anything. But he said he'll call me after work, so he did. We talked for maybe like 40 minutes or something. It was mostly me talking. And it was mostly me saying things like, if there's something going on, tell me, so we can see if we can work through it. We can see if we can compromise on it. We can see if it's something that can change. Because if it's something like, you know, I wish that you would do this, or that you didn't say this, or whatever, there are certain things that are very compromisable in relationships. Is compromisable a word? I don't know. But there are things that are absolutely able to change and alter. They're usually small things that are easier and quicker to change, but still, I'm totally okay with compromise. I like compromise. I like change. So when we were on the phone the night he broke up with me, which was Monday, so 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks and a day ago, I'm recording this on Tuesday, I just kind of said, like, is there any way we can talk about this? And like, I would have done things, you know, like, 'cause I really, 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 really cared about him, and I really thought that it was going to last longer. And I know that, like, you never know about the future and blah, 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 whatever, but in reality, he's done, and that's the only way that I'm going to think about it. So he ended up just kind of saying, like, no, I'm stuck with my decision, and that he kind of, it was kind of confusing. He just kind of explained that there were certain things that happened over the last, like, week or two. Like I said, that there was a few times that he was acting a little bit weird or a little bit distant, but he just said he was fine, and I just believed him, because sometimes people act distant, but they are totally fine. But he just kind of said there were a few times that I would do something that got under his skin, but he never told me, which sucks, because I know a lot of people say, well, some people are bad at communication, but he was good the first, like, month. We were great. And so it just kind of switched, that he wasn't anymore. And he said, I wasn't able to tell you, I didn't know how to tell you. And then they just piled up. All the things that I did that he didn't like, or that I said that he didn't like, ended up piling up. And he broke up with me because of it, which is ironic, because that happened to me when I was younger, when I was like 22. And I literally even mentioned that to this recent ex. And I said, like, this happened to me when I was younger. Please don't do that. If you're ever going to break up with me, please talk to me about it first. Please don't just break up with me out of nowhere. It hurts so much more. I told him that. And he, I mean, of course, his response was, why are you even talking about that? I'm not going to break up with you. And then he did. It's just really scary. And I know everyone goes through this. I'm not trying to say this is the worst breakup ever. I'm not trying to say anything like that. Everyone goes through this. I've gone through this many times. This one is just hitting me as one of the hardest, which is almost surprising to me, because it wasn't a very long relationship, but it just, to me, was a very real relationship. And I think it was for him too, again. And I'm not mad at him for seemingly changing his mind. I think he just changed his mind, whether it's because I was mentally worse than he thought or assumed, or whether it was he was not as, I don't want to say strong, but, you know, like, as, like, resilient as he thought in terms of this, or I just did things that actually really triggered him that he is not ready to handle or talk about. I don't know, because he never actually ended up really explaining much more than, you did some things that I didn't like, they got under my skin, and I didn't know how to tell you, and so now I need to break up with you. That's kind of all I know. And so that was, like, Monday. We didn't talk Tuesday, and then Wednesday I asked him if he would be willing to see me to explain things, just to talk about things, to see what could have changed. And that was Wednesday morning, and he said yes. And he's like, that was Halloween. He's like, I'm busy tonight, but I'm free tomorrow, like tomorrow during the day. And so the kind of idea was just we were going to meet for lunch, because we've done that a bunch of times before, that we met for lunch. And so I just assumed we were going to meet for lunch. And I never heard from him again after Wednesday. I texted him Thursday morning, hey, where are we going to meet? Called him. Just never heard from him. Which just, like, sucks. Because, again, like, okay, you don't want to be with me, cool, but, like, if you're going to tell me you love me and that you're excited to meet my family in 2 weeks, maybe it might be kind of nice to at least give me an explanation why, you know? Because even when we were on the phone that Monday night, he just kind of told me, like, very vague, you did things I didn't like, and so I had to break up with you. And it's like, well, I don't think that anyone really deserves whatever. I just mean, it would have been nice if I got more of an explanation, but he never called me or texted me back. And I, of course, was very, very scared that something happened to him, because he was never like that. He was a very, very reliable person. And then it's, like, scary of what you learn about someone after you're broken up. That's even scary, because, like, maybe he was like this whole time, or maybe he's really, really hurting. I don't know. I did end up hearing from him a couple days ago, because I bought him concert tickets, and I texted him if he still wanted them, and he answered that text, but didn't even acknowledge anything else I said or anything about disappearing on me or anything, which I know that I'm being very honest with you guys, but this is just the reality. I'm talking to you guys like you're my friends, you know? Again, I'm not mad. It's that whole, like, I'm not mad, I'm disappointed, but I am. I didn't want us to break up. I still don't really know why we did, just because I don't know what got under his skin. I don't know what hurt him. I am such a person that, like, when I really, really care about someone, I am willing to compromise because I want to. I want to compromise. I want to do things that work for the both of us combined. But if you aren't open about it, how am I supposed to know? You know, like, if you don't like when I, like, sneeze in front of you and it, like, really, 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 really makes you, like, disgusted. If you never tell me, how am I supposed to know? I know it's a dumb comparison, but you know what I mean? Like, just anything. Like, if you don't like, if I say the word, like, mayonnaise, but you never tell me, then I'm not gonna know that it hurts you, or that it bothers you, or that it grosses you out, or whatever. I'm not gonna know. And so I'm such a big advocate of telling people things that bother you or that you like. And some people just are not at that level of communication, and that's absolutely, you know, I'm not faulting anyone. People learn things at different stages. People learn things differently. People have different opinions. I get that. Just with what I know about the relationship, we were very, very close. And I just wish that I got more of an explanation, but I didn't. And so all I kind of know is that I did things he didn't like, and he didn't think he was able to tell me, and so he broke up with me. So again, I really, really, I know this video is long. I really don't want the he sucks, he's the worst, you deserve better, or, well, yeah, of course, why would he date you? You have mental illnesses, or why are you so sad, or whatever. I just don't want, like, all that, like, the negative kind of drama in the comment section. I don't really like that, because I don't think it adds any sort of value if you're negative. You know what I mean? Like, if you're spreading the negative part of it. Obviously, being there for someone and just communicating. I'm telling you guys this because you're part of my life. You're a big part of my life. So I want to talk to you guys about it, you know, but I just don't want negative talk about him or negative assumptions about my relationship, because I'm telling you the truth. I am going to appreciate, obviously, any comments that you leave. It's more just the outright mean comments or negative comments. I just really hope that you don't leave them, because this is sensitive for me to talk about. I am already, like, nervous. I'm nervous recording it. I'm nervous to edit it. I'm nervous to post it. And so I just hope that it doesn't spew negativity. And also just the whole, like, I know that everyone goes through this. I know that my situation is not very unique. I get that. I completely get that. I feel like maybe I am extra sad and confused about it because my brain has already been getting more intense and more difficult to deal with throughout the whole summer and the fall. And so now adding a breakup on top of that, when I really, really didn't, like, I don't know. It just made it worse, you know? It just made it harder. But in all honesty, and if he's watching this, I doubt he will, but in all honesty, right before we broke up, I did think about breaking up with him. It had nothing to do with him at all. I adored him. He was so, so, so good to me. Very, very funny, very, like, personable, very caring. I really, really cared about him. It has nothing to do with him. It had nothing to do with him. I considered breaking up with him because I didn't want to have to put someone through what I was going through. Like, I didn't want to, like, bring someone else down, and my brain just really is getting worse, and I didn't want to make it harder for someone else to deal with when they didn't have to. You know, I really considered it like, well, I really care about him. Maybe I shouldn't let him have to deal with me. But he just always said it was okay. He always said I made him happy. So I don't like that I hurt him. I didn't mean to. And, like, I really just do wish he told me, even if we ended up breaking up. I understand most relationships end in breakups. I get that. But I just wish he told me so I would have known. So I could have actually just worked on it. Some things obviously are much harder to change, but they could have been things, the things that I did to hurt him could have been things that I could have changed easily, but I will never know. I don't know. I mean, maybe he'll tell me one day, but I don't know. I don't want to hurt anyone else. And I didn't want to hurt him, but it seems like I did. And I hate that. I'm really scared to post this video. I know there's gonna be so many comments. You just dated for 6 weeks. Why are you so sad? You're so dramatic. You're doing this for views. You're doing this, blah, 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 blah. I really hope that you guys just believe me that like if I'm crying, it's because I'm sad. And I'm crying because my life is already really, 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 really hard. And then adding a breakup on top of it, even though, yes, I just said that I did think about breaking up with him, but I didn't want to. It had nothing to do with me not liking him or caring about him or wanting to be with him. It had to do with me not wanting to hurt him. I hope that if I ever have a boyfriend again, that we can communicate about that kind of stuff. But yeah, I could make this video hours long because things like relationships and communication and just people in general really interest me and fascinate me. And I think about it a lot of like, it's really interesting how people can just change their mind, or people lie, but they don't even know. And you know, like you can say something and be lying to yourself and you might not even be aware of it, or we just change our minds at the drop of a hat sometimes, and that's scary to me because you want to trust people, but then how can you when everyone changes their mind? Even you do. I can talk about that kind of stuff a lot, but I'm not going to. I just wanted to tell you guys that we broke up. I again really, really hope that there's not very many mean comments. I know that it was only 6 weeks, but we really, really, really were very, very close. And I acclimate very quickly. So even if I'm with someone for a week, I feel like I've known him forever, you know? And he and I we joked about that from the get-go, that we just were very, very close very quickly. And I know it'll be fine. I know he's probably fine. I will be fine. I know you move on from breakups. They generally just take time. I know that. But again, it's more the breakup on top of everything else that's going on. And then it's just like my life has just been kind of extra ridiculous lately. Like right before I broke up, I really hurt my neck. If you guys have been watching a lot of my videos, you know I really hurt my neck. It's finally starting to feel better because I went to the chiropractor. I've had to see him like 8 times or something. It's finally starting to feel better. And then we broke up, and then the next day I woke up with a really, really bad cold with like the laryngitis I had and whatever. And then I sprained my ankle the other day. I burned my head. I feel like so many things are piling on. And I think certain people think that the more you deal with something, the easier it becomes. I understand that to a certain extent, absolutely. But the way that I process things, which I'm not saying is good or bad or healthy or unhealthy, just the way that I do, is it's more like they pile on. It's not like I learned how to deal with it, cool, learn how to deal with it, cool, easier, easier, easier. It's more learned how to deal with it, but still kind of dealing with the repercussions of it because I never fully have like figured out how to move on if it happens again. Does that make sense? And it just piles on. It's really, really bad brain, hurt my neck, breakup, sprained ankle, hurt my head, really, really bad cold that I couldn't talk for a few days and I was coughing in the middle of the night. Like it just, they keep piling on. And for me personally, that makes it harder. But also when I burned my head, I think it was when I told my mom, I was just kind of laughing because I was just like, what is happening right now? Oh, and I sprained my ankle, by the way, falling down the stairs. Like I tripped down like the last few stairs and I sprained my ankle very, very mildly. Not like last year, if you saw that video from last year where I really badly sprained my ankle, but it's the same ankle and that sprain never fully healed. And so this is just like a mild sprain on top of that really bad sprain from last year. And so, but again, that's what, it's just, it all keeps piling on. And so the level that I'm sad, yes, is from the breakup. Because I really, 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 really cared about him and I really, really thought it was going to last. And I had expectations, which in my opinion are the cause of most pain. I had expectations that he wasn't going to break up with me, at least without working on things first. I'm such a big advocate of working on things because I think if you just kind of, I'm done, to me that's giving up. And I would much rather say, well, what can be done? What can be done? What can be done? Let's work on this. And then if it doesn't work, then I think it's okay to quit. But I'm such a big believer in exhausting all your options. You know, if there's something going on in a relationship, talk about it, work on it. Then if it doesn't work, yes, I think it's okay to quit if it's not healthy for you, if it's not good for you. But I feel like just out of nowhere breaking up, to me, that's giving up. And I don't like that. I'm not saying that we wouldn't have broken up in the future. I'm just saying that I wish that I got to know what happened so that I could have worked on it. And so I think communication is a really big deal. And again, I'm not mad at him. It's how he's handling it. He's doing hopefully what he thinks is best for him. And he is great. He is great. Like you do learn a lot more about a person after a breakup, but it's still, to me, I don't think he's a bad person. I don't think that he's horrible. I don't think he lied. I think he was a really, really, really good boyfriend, but it just didn't work out. And I know that's okay. I know that I'll move on. I get it, I know, but I don't want you guys to think I'm being dramatic. I actually am hurting. I actually am hurting. I don't do videos like this just for like the views to be dramatic. If I'm crying, it's because I'm crying. I'm a semi-sensitive, emotional person, which I hate, but I am. And again, I thought it was gonna be different, but expectations are what cause pain, and that's my doing, you know? So yeah, I mean, this video is really long. That's kind of it. Again, I know it'll be fine. I know it'll be fine. It's just still right now, it's just still hard for me, especially thinking like, they broke up with me knowing how bad my brain was. Maybe I can't have relationships. Maybe I'm not good at them, you know, or something. I know that it depends on compatibility. I know it depends on communication and openness and stuff. I get that. It just made what I was already going through harder because I've already been going through so much. My brain has already been spiraling for several months before I even met him. And I just really thought that it could work and was gonna work, and it didn't. And I know that logically it's okay, it just is what it is, I get that, but it's just emotionally, I'm just still sad about it. I'm just still sad that I feel like he gave up on me, and that's just not a fun feeling. But again, I don't want you guys to think I'm being dramatic. This is actually how I think and how I feel, and if you want to blame it on my mental illness, fine. It's just the truth and the reality of my brain is that this is just how I feel, and this is how I even think, you know? It's just, everything was already difficult, and then it just kind of was spiraling, and now I'm limping, and I have to have like emo bangs to cover up my, like, look at this. And I know that everyone goes through this stuff, and it's fine. You just gotta keep going. You know, I get that. It's just hard. Like whenever I do like motivational videos, like just do it, just do it. I never mean that it's easy and just go do it in 10 minutes and forget about everything else and never be in pain again and never let anything bother you. That's not what I mean. I just mean that it's possible to move on from things, to grow, to learn more things, to start a business, to travel. It's possible. It's all possible if you make it your priority, if you really, really work on it. But I am not going to say that it's not difficult. I'm not going to say it's just easy peasy. I'm not going to say that it doesn't take time. I'm not going to say that you're never going to fail, because you probably will. It's the whole, it doesn't matter if you fall, it just matters that you get up, you know? Like, so I know all that. I really, really do. But when you add it onto a mental illness, and I'm not making excuses, this is just literal, I don't know, fact, but just, I think most people would agree who have mental illnesses, it just makes it harder. When our brains process things differently than healthy people, it just makes it harder. And it just means we're gonna probably have to do it in a different way, or it might take longer. And again, so some of you guys are gonna think I'm being dramatic, but this is just how I'm processing things with everything else that's going on, plus the breakup, plus my sprained ankle, plus all this stuff. It's just the reality of my situation in my life. And so I know that situationally, I'll move on from it. But I also know, and I know that you guys know, that as strong as you are and as over people you are, I'm sure that a ton of you still think about your exes sometimes. And still think about people that meant a lot to you. Still think about friends that you don't have anymore. Still think about family members that you haven't talked to in 5 years. Just because you've moved on or gotten over them doesn't mean that they weren't important to you. And I'm a believer, if you ever loved someone, you're not gonna ever just completely stop thinking about them, because then that's not really love, you know? But okay, I'm gonna go. Thank you guys for watching. And I don't know what else to say about this. Breakups are hard for a lot of people, but I know there are gonna be some people who think I'm being dramatic, but I also know there's gonna be some people who really do understand what I'm saying, that they dated someone for 6 weeks once and that they were heartbroken when it ended. And I just hope that there's no judgment on it, because we're all just so different and things are different for people, you know? And so I just really hope there's no judgment on that. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and please subscribe if you're not already, and click the little notification bell. I think I'm gonna do Vlogmas. So I'm not gonna post every day, but I'll post more, and it'll be a lot of vlogs, I think. And I'll start that like right after Thanksgiving, so just in a couple weeks. But yeah, I'll see you in my next video. I love you, Jesus loves you, and I'll talk to you later. Bye. Not me. I wait on it like your love up. Then I go and toss that